Blackstone presents The Curious League of Detectives and Thieves, Egypt's Fire, by Tom Phillips. This book is read by James Fouhey. For Big Tom, the greatest father who ever lived. Prologue. The time you discovered the greatest detective who ever lived. Most detective stories start with a phrase such as, "It was a dark and stormy night," or, "The moment she walked through the door, I knew she was trouble." But this story, I dare say, is not like most detective stories. This is the story of the greatest detective who ever lived, and whom you've never heard of. Now, before I continue, I'll answer a couple of questions. First, the set of keys your mother is frantically looking for can be found under the left cushion of your couch. And second, the reason why you have never heard of the detective in question is that you haven't read this book. But I am sure after you do, you'll agree with me. And who am I? Just a humble observer who feels compelled to set the record straight. Throughout my lifetime, I have witnessed, collected, and recorded mysterious events all over the world, but the strange happenings I am about to recount are by far the most interesting I have ever laid witness to. I've changed some of the names to protect the not-so-innocent, but every other detail is exactly as it occurred. It all began with a lonely boy, a priceless ruby, and an inspector named Todious McGee. Chapter 1. The time when an orphan almost caught a master criminal. In a crawlspace above the bathroom, on the 4th floor of the New York Museum of Natural History, lived an orphan named John Boarhog. He had been living in the museum for about 6 months. At 11 and a half, John had decided that he would be better off on his own. He was done with orphanages, foster homes, and grown-ups. He was tired of other people deciding what was best for him. John knew what was best for himself, living with his mother. Unfortunately, that was now impossible. If you've ever tried to live in the ceiling of a museum, you know how difficult it can be. Living in the ceiling of any building is tricky, but museums are perhaps the most challenging, even for expert ceiling dwellers.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?